The reason 90% of people fail is because they just mentally can't fucking handle it. They just can't. And I get it. Like, I've been there. But at the end of the day, this is why implementing a strategy like this is so important. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how you could have made 220% returns on Meta in the past 4 years versus the 105% return that the underlying asset performed at. And what we're going to explain is the very simple script. We're going to go over why it works, how you guys can get access to it, and more importantly, how you guys can trade this. So let's take a look right now. The software that we're using is called TrendSpider. I do have a link in the description. You do not need to use this. There is plenty of other scripting software out there. I believe that TrendSpider is one of the best ones because it makes it very simple and very effective for many people. And to be quite honest, I've been doing this for 9 years. I have over 12,000 members in our community. I will promise you that simple and effective is the best thing. People try to overcomplicate this, and when you actually see the returns that we're going to talk about here, and you see how freaking simple this is, you're going to really wish that you would have known about it sooner. So looking at this, I'm going to actually full screen, and you're going to have to notice on the right side of your screen over here, you're going to see our tablature data or our returns. On YouTube, you will be able to zoom it in. Unfortunately, if I go and zoom this in, it's going to mess up the aspect ratio of everything. But basically, over the past 4.7 years, looking at a 65-minute chart of Meta, overall, we would have made a 220% return on our investment, which is what our net performance overall is. You can see as well that our asset performance would have only been 105%, so we outpaced Meta itself 2-1. And here's the beauty. 80% of the time, we are winning. So this is a very consistent and profitable strategy. And at the end of the day, most importantly, you're not going to be sustaining massive losses. The max drawdown, however, is high with 58.5%. And we're going to talk about what that exactly means. It does not mean that at one point your account was down 58%. That's what a lot of people think. What that means is from the highs that you had at one point to the lows was a 50% drop. So it's not the end of the world. Average win 1.32%, average loss 4.33. So for those of you who are professional traders or you've been trading a while, the first thing you're going to notice is that this is one of those strategies where you're consistently winning and you're consistently hitting singles. When you lose, it is usually 4 times your win, but because we're hitting so many trades and because we're consistently winning, we're ultimately making way more than we're losing. There's 2 methodologies when it comes to trading professionally. There's the methodology of I only want to be right 30, 40, 50% of the time, but I want to have 3-to-1 risk versus rewards. So meaning that we're not right a lot of the times, but when we are right, it's like hitting triples and homers, but we're constantly striking out. The other side is kind of something like this, where you're constantly hitting singles, but then you are taking those big losses every once in a while, but that's just a part of it. But you need to really think of it in the essence of what can I handle emotionally? What I've noticed myself is I'm fine with only winning 20% of the time if it means getting a 10-to-1 return on my investment. However, with my 2,500 students that we've worked with, for your average everyday trader and investor, they would rather consistently win. It's just easier and it makes sense. So let's talk about the requirements, guys. This is the simplest thing that you're going to see here. All right. We're running one indicator. It's an 11 SMA. The 11 SMA, the reason I run it is because it's half the amount of time as a trading month. So basically, any time that we start to see an uptick, a break over that trend line is when we're going to enter. From there, we are going to set a stop loss of 4%, so a pretty sizable pullback, and a take profit of only 1%. Now, you can finagle this. You could be like, okay, instead, I want to do 1.5, and you can go up here and you can hit run. At the end of the day, this will change depending upon some numbers that you have. To me, 4-to-1 works the best. Now, if we were to zoom out and we were to just say, okay, how does this work? The reason that this works is because the market consistently just goes up. Like, that's it. So when we're getting these small potential move up, we're getting the overall float of the market. We're playing with the overall float of the market, and we're playing with the overall trend, which is what you want. Now, this chart here is extremely important because it's going to show you how our trades are going to stack up against the underlying stock. So in this instance here, you're going to see that this green line that sometimes is red and then sometimes is gray, that's the price of the underlying. And so you can see the blue is what our strategy would have done. So we closely match the price of the actual stock. Year one, we had a 47% return, which was about what the stock did itself. From then, we had the crash due to the Rona, and where we dropped 50% nearly. So that's one of the max drawdowns. From there, we ripped. And look, as Meta is moving up, we are not pacing what the underlying did. The underlying is actually beating us this entire time until we get the massive snapback. And when we dropped all the way back down here, our portfolio only ever went down 9%. So yes, we lost all the gains that we had, but we weren't that deep in the negative, whereas if you would have had the underlying shares, you'd be down 40%. Now from here, we have snapbacked and moved our way up. And so a lot of people might be like, well, dude, why not just hold the stock long term? You could do that. But the one thing that I will tell you is understanding human nature. After doing this for 9 years, following something like this is much simpler than wondering every day if you should sell. Like, to me, stress is not worth any amount of money. Like, my I can't be bought when it comes to my stress. And so instead of sitting there every day, like, unfortunately, watching YouTube videos, like, should I buy my stock? Like, should I sell Tesla? Should I sell this? Like, should I do that? I just know every time this happens, I buy. Every time this happens, I sell. I will basically pace the market. And on top of that, I'll even beat the market most of the time. And so at the end of the day, running something like this is rather simple and very, very effective. And you don't have to worry to yourself about when you should take profits and when you should run away. And now, of course, you're not going to get the long-term capital gains, beautiful tax that you'd get at 15%. But at the end of the day, too, you're removing stress. So you have to think to yourself, like, what is your mental stress and sanity worth? The reason 90% of people fail is because they just mentally can't fucking handle it. They just can't. And I get it. Like, I've been there. But at the end of the day, this is why implementing a strategy like this is so important. Now, like I said, you guys can take this simple strategy. A lot of people are like, dude, why are you giving this out? Like, why, if this works so well, why are you giving it out for free? Because two things. Number one, most people just won't follow this. Like, even though it's that simple, people will not follow it. Because you really have to think about it. If you would have started following this strategy right here in the beginning, you would have made so much money. But then if you would have started here, you would have lost your ass. And you probably would have said, if you started back here in September, this is a crappy strategy. This strategy doesn't work. I'm not going to see it to completion. The way that I look at strategies, and if you guys want more videos like this, definitely comment and let me know. But I look at them in the essence of a small business. So let's say I have a strategy like this and I want to test it. I will take whatever amount of capital. It could be $5,000. It could be $25,000. But that money is dead to me. I will take that. I will put it in a separate brokerage account just to test the strategy and test the strategy to completion. Meaning until I have at least 100 trades or until the money's fucking gone. Right? You can't cherry pick. And that's the problem, is that, like, most people don't even know what they're doing. The other half can't actually stick to it. And the unfortunate aspect, and the reason why I have so many students, which is a beautiful thing, I love teaching people, but the reason for that is because even if you give people the answers, unfortunately, human nature dictates that they can't follow them. Right? That's the hardest thing, is just following it, being disciplined. So I hope this helped, guys. Thanks for all the support. Check out our Discord community down below. If you guys want to trade with me every day, you can upgrade with the second link in the description. It's $50 a month. You get access to all my trades, all of my trading bots, all the scripts, but it's free your first month. So the goal is to prove to you guys that we're not some crappy guru on YouTube, to prove our worth to you, to show you guys that we're fucking legit. And that's why we give it away for the first month. So thanks for all the support. Go check it out, and I'll see you next time. Peace.